In this video, I'm gonna show you how to go from this to this only using Photoshop and render elements. A handy little trick that you can use during post-production to enhance or fix stuff in a render. Now, getting better at visualization also comes down to learning these little things, which eventually build up to you knowing how to handle all challenges in image creation. So just some context. This past week I had to create some images for an architectural firm, and I was deciding between which rendering engine I was gonna use. I was gonna go with Twinmotion because that's what I've been practicing lately, but then I knew I was going to do a lot of work in Photoshop during post-production, and Twinmotion doesn't output render elements, so that couldn't be it. Then I went back to my good old trusty V-Ray, but I think since the model was exported from ArchiCAD and it was actually modeled for construction drawings, it was too heavy and SketchUp kept crashing on me. I guess that's one of the biggest disadvantages of SketchUp, it's just too slow. So then it was Lumion to save the day, I guess, but here's where the title of this video comes in. Although Lumion improved a lot in the past few years, the actual rendering isn't the best. Something that gets me every time is the reflections, and this is sort of solved by the reflection planes. Sort of, unless it's an object that's made out of glass, which results in just trash. But then the second issue is that oftentimes furniture and objects feel like they're floating. It's missing that touch shadow, if you can call it like that. I know that you can tweak the Omni Shadow slider to fine-tune it, and I saw that on wall corners it worked well, but if I set up to work on walls, it's not enough for furniture, and if I set it up for furniture and objects, the corners got too contrasty and dark. Okay, so a lot of introduction, but in this video I'm gonna show you how to work around this kind of issue. It's not only about Lumion, as I mentioned, it's a step done in Photoshop with render channels, or also called render elements, and learning this workflow will help you use render elements in general. So let's dive in. Okay, so import the base render, and the channels you're gonna need are Material ID and Lighting. These names can change depending on the render engine you're using, but they often look like this. And I like to organize the file like this: render elements together below the base render group, so that even though they're not visible, I can use a magic wand, select the layer, and click on the areas I want to select. First of all, let's fix these table legs, right? They're reflecting green, this just doesn't look right. So with that selection, click on the hue and saturation adjustment layer, and then bring the saturation slider down. Now looking at this, it's as clear as daylight to me that the shadows beneath the table should have been darker. That's one of my biggest complaints actually about real-time renderers in general. And that's where the lighting render pass comes in. We can use it combined with the mask to tell Photoshop where we need more shadows. First, Ctrl J to create a copy of it and drag it above the render. Usually I like to make a group for fixed layer, but that's up to you. Then go ahead and change the blend mode of this layer to multiply. Next, create a mask on this lighting channel, but when clicking on the mask, make sure to hold Alt to make it fully black and hide everything. Then with the magic wand again, select the flooring and remember to select the Material ID layer. And now with a soft round brush, and I usually like to change its shape to match the flooring perspective, you start painting in some shadows. And maybe you will see that it's too dark still, so then I like to apply a levels adjustment and crunch it up to remove some of the mid values and only get a bit of the shadows. And make sure to use a low opacity brush to increase the shadow little by little. The advantage of doing this way instead of a simple brush paint is that like this we get the little nuances and imperfections, and we emphasize the shadow structure that already exists there. And this technique is also useful in many other scenarios. For example, the container material ended up too dark and contrasty, and instead of going back to Lumion and adjusting the settings, then rendering it again, and doing this process back and forth until I got the result I wanted, and spent that much more time, I'm duplicating the lighting render pass one more time and applying a mask that only reveals the metal texture. And then I can tweak the opacity and reduce the contrast. And if for some reason I think this should only apply to a portion of my container material, I can just paint over the mask. See, this just opens a whole new world of possibilities in post-production. Not to mention that other render elements can be used here with the same workflow to tweak other things in the image. Like for example on this other image here, the reflection channel to enhance the reflectiveness and a lot more. I hope you enjoyed this quick video and learned something new. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next here on YouTube. I'm joining a competition with a team this month, so I'll probably release fewer videos here on YouTube, but once I'm able to share the competition result, I'll do a proper video of the board and the project, so stay tuned. And if you're really into post-production and want to learn more, we have a course on post-production that teaches all of these advanced moves in Photoshop. It has almost 2,000 students and the review has been fantastic. Links down below. Or also, if you need free knowledge, I'll leave a playlist of some videos we have here on YouTube for you to continue your study. Click here on this playlist to go there.